Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today I'm talking about my Linux experience as a Mac user, since I haven't seen much of these videos floating around, and I wanted to kind of give a rundown of what you may expect or how you may go depending on what route you take. But yeah, so today we're talking about this right here. It's a MacBook Air 2018. It was it had Mac, but I decided to put Linux on it because it's an older computer now, and I wanted to test things out. But I feel like it's really different from Mac and Windows and all of that. As a Mac user, I guess you don't have screenshots taken every 30 seconds thanks to AI, but it's nice to be liberated and free and things like that of that nature, that you're not stuck to any corporation really owning your computer, owning your things. So I want to talk about what I did with this computer and what I put on it. So I went with Arch Linux because everybody's talking about how hard that is to download, but it's really easy unless you're using a T2 Mac, because everything is much, it's just a little bit more difficult due to that security chip that they placed. But it took me around a day to install. I know it sounds crazy. It's not because of the manual method or anything of that nature. It was mostly because I'm like, my keyboard isn't working, nothing isn't working, and I just realized I just had to download the ISO from the T2 wiki and just do the manual installation from there, and we got up and running, which was nice. So in terms of creative use, it's okay. It's not really getting much from it, especially because it works better on Mac because it's native and you're not jumping through hoops and hurdles to get things going. But if you're using your laptop for just web browsing, emailing, and things like that, it's really easy. It's really perfect for that type of work, especially because this is in a whole desktop station or workstation or anything like that. Especially because it's a MacBook Air, a really old MacBook Air. So I wouldn't really expect to be pushing that type of weight. But it's really good for that. I have experienced a couple issues here and there, but that's mostly because I'm using Arch, and you have to build everything yourself, and you have to kind of configure everything yourself. But you guys are curious of what I'm running here. Some Hyperland. It's dot files. What is it? I don't know. It's either way. It's linked down in the description below of the dot files that I took from Hyperdots. Yeah, Hyperdots. After I tinkered around and stuff to get the gist of what I'm doing with the configuration files and all that, and how to use all that. Because I'm not a developer by any means. I'm not that. I'm a designer. I make designs and things like that. All right. So what's really the difference here between these two systems and things like that? Well, Linux offers a lot more customization, much more than you are used to on Mac. And that's great. That's a good thing or a bad thing, depending on the type of person you are. Because if you are the type of person who loves just tweaking everything to how exactly you like it, and you just end up tweaking everything, you just keep tweaking it, and then you get work done. So that's the type of person I am, which is a terrible thing. But it's great. In terms of the terminal, of course, depending on which route you take, you could use the terminal or not. Honestly, I could easily just use what is it called, PatMac, on here and just install things through there and never have to worry about opening up the terminal unless something breaks. Which honestly, there's a lot of things online, and I found most of the things that are broken I could probably fix if I just put some time into. But some things just won't work. Some things just flat out won't work. Like DaVinci Resolve. I don't think I could get this thing running on there because it's Intel and it's weird, and it's just weird. That's just a headache that I don't want to get into. And yeah, it's just you're gonna have to use the terminal at some point, I feel like. Yeah, but for the most part, people would be just fine using the store that came with their desktop environment, whether that be GNOME or KDE Plasma, they'd be fine with this, just downloading everything from there, and they really wouldn't have to worry about opening up the terminal, which is kind of nice, kind of easy. Like if anything just didn't work using the AUR, I would just download a Flatpak, even though it's kind of bloat, but just to really like, oh, okay, well that works. You know, it's always a backup if you know you just can't get something to work, and you could just live off that, and you know it'd be fine. And it's relatively lightweight compared to any other OS, like, compared to Mac or compared to Windows. You know, even if people consider it bloat, but you know, those people are just like trying to optimize it to the most. Which, I mean, hey, it's their system, you know. Why judge? Don't judge others for, you know, using Flatpaks. I guess Snap, I guess you could judge, but you know. I mean, yeah, I think it's great if you just want something to browse the internet with, and use like a old laptop like this. I think it'd be perfectly fine. Haven't ran into any issues, and these people are talking in the back of my video. I haven't ran into any issues in terms of web browsing like that. If you are using Hyperlam, double click sometimes is weird and things like that, but I mean it's cool. I mean for the most part you're gonna be using your mouse and keyboard anyways with that stuff. If you're a developer, I think this would work perfectly fine. If you're creative, you're gonna have to, I guess, really brute force your way in. So those are my thoughts. Just, I mean, I've only had a month of side use. You know, I've been using my work computer for my work. And my work computer, I mean my main computer, my main MacBook. And this I've just been tinkering with on the side. And I may get into NixOS because it sounds really interesting. Like, whoa, that's awesome. Of course, if I really wanted to, and if you really wanted to, you could get something to work on there, but you know, maybe a virtual box machine or something. You can probably get like DaVinci Box or whatever the heck it's called and run it on a virtual machine and do all that. But with the T2 chip, it's really weird because virtual boxes don't like the kernel, and that's a whole pain to deal with, and I haven't even figured it out because I'm just like, you know what, I'm just gonna just install NixOS instead of installing a virtual box, because the virtual box didn't like the kernel I was using due to, due to having these, the trackpad and the keyboard working. So yeah, I mean that's kind of what it is. There's some things in Hyperland that you just have to configure, but in GNOME everything works fine. You know, like the lights and the sound and everything. The only thing I had with GNOME was that the Wi-Fi and network manager were acting weird, so I just used this. I made this file to fix the backend that it would use IWD, I think, if I remember correctly. I'll link that in the bottom. And if you have any questions on how to set up Arch on a T2 Mac, I could help. There's the T2 wiki that probably that is more qualified to help, but I'll be happy to answer any of your questions. If you guys are curious about anything else, let me know. And that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching the video, and see you in the next one. All right.